Alright, hello! Welcome everybody to this Sonic Colors Ultimate race. We are going to be racing over here the re-release of 2021 of the classic Wii games Sonic Colors. I'm CriticalCyd, and with me I have...
I'm auraace.
Yep, and the two of us are going to be commentating this race. Now I'm going to introduce our lovely runners. Thanks to the online nature of this event, we have quite a wide area of the world covered right here. We have, all the way from South Korea, someone who is no stranger to the GDQ stage. You may have seen his Sonic Generations or Sonic Forces run. We have thebluemania. And then all the way from the other side of the world, the Northern Americas, from Canada, we have someone relatively new to the Sonic scene, but who just showed up with Sonic Colors Ultimate and decided, I'm going to be good at this game. It is new. And then right in the middle of them, we have, from Europe, in the country of Germany, Subbaro, the only one of these runners who has actually ran the Wii version of the game, and the only one of these runners who actually has a trick name after him.
Hi there.
And yeah, that's the people who are going to be running for you. We're going to be running the X Shuttle category, which is a challenge mode in the game that goes through all of the story stages, but cuts out all of the downtime, like cutscenes and map movement and stuff like that. Just pure fast, and there's a couple of other differences that we are going to be talking about during the run. So, I'm going to give you all a countdown from 5 on go, and then we shall get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get started with X Shuttle. Alright, so the first thing you need to know about this game, it has both 2D and 3D sections, and the reason I say that is because we're going to be ignoring that rule as much as possible. Aura, what are some of the tricks that you're hoping to see from these runners in the first world?
Yeah, we already got one coming up here in the first stage. You got Tropical Resort 1, 3D and 2D. It's a pretty cool skip, I think. I think everyone's gonna go for it. It's gonna come up like right here at the ramp after this rail. Dang, you missing the rail jump. That really sucks, but luckily you got the tail save. Looks like thebluemania is gonna die and Subbaro is just gonna hit the ramp on accident. Maybe New can show us here. Nah, no. So it's a pretty tight window to jump over that ramp, and because there's actually invisible walls that push you back down into the ramp, and you need to jump over the ramp and go around to trigger. thebluemania's gonna get one more attempt at it here. There you go. He gets around the trigger. He's gonna land inbounds on a little thin platform and is going to be able to boost around the 2D part of the level and back onto the rail, skipping that entire part.
And here you see that even though Subbaro technically didn't get it and just kind of hit the ramp, he actually ends up being put in the lead as a result, just because of not going for this trick. A lot of these tricks, they save only a little bit of time, but they also have quite the risk added to them, especially in this first world. The tricks are pretty low on the time save, but really cool tricks regardless.
Yeah, one of the nice things about Ultimate is that it does tend to slightly decrease the risk of going for a lot of the skips because of one of the new mechanics where if you die to a bottomless pit, Tails can actually bring you back up way closer to where you fell off and with your boost, which is a pretty nice addition because a lot of the deaths can be pretty brutal when you ruin your boost route to losing all your boost from dying.
And then we have thebluemania actually going for the rail speed. He's
going to go for TR2 skip, and he's got the laser, so I think he's going to go for the 3D and 2D here, probably. Looks like he is. So he's in 3D again in this part, and he's going to probably go under the stage here and try and laser to the end here. Nice, and he hits it. Let's go.
All right, very nice, very nice.
And we're not done with 3D and 2Ds yet, because there's one in this stage too that Subbaro's coming up to.
Oh yeah, this game starts off with all guns blazing. Trust me, I will talk about the base mechanics at some point.
Yeah,
right now,
Starlight Carnival will give us a good chance to do that, but we got to go over some skips because Subbaro is again in 3D right now, so he's actually going to be able to jump around the walls that are normally going to force you to travel up, and you can actually go around and homing attack the springs from the side.
And that, you know, skips quite a nice 2D section right there. 2D sections, even though this game is full of them, they're slow. Sonic actually moves slower in the 2D sections. So we want to maintain 3D physics as much as possible. Even if we can't skip too much, we at the very least get to maintain 3D speed.
Right, yeah, that is a pretty important part of why they save so much time.
Yeah. This is one that actually all of our runners are going to go for. This is definitely the biggest one in Tropical Resort. And looks like you and the thebluemania don't really have much issue with it either. So in the meantime, Subbaro is already in Act 4 of Tropical Resort. This game, all of the worlds in it have 6 acts, with the exception of the final one. So he is blasting through this first world pretty fast already, sitting already at 5. And one other important thing to note is that since Subbaro is currently using the Spike Wisp, you normally would not have that in Tropical Resort yet if this was an any % run. One of the nice benefits of X Shuttle is that you already have all of your wisps unlocked from the get-go, which makes this extra fast.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time in the starting levels because at the start you're only supposed to have laser, I believe, at this point. Maybe, I don't even remember when you get Ghost in the remake, honestly, but either way, you definitely wouldn't have Spike, you wouldn't have Drill. It tends to not save a whole lot of time. Starlight Carnival, I don't think. I think it's about the same, but you save quite a bit in the first 3 worlds.
Exactly. Yeah, I have no idea when you unlock Ghost. It's not relevant to the speedrun. Sorry.
There are some backups that are slightly slower to use Ghost, but I don't think we'll be seeing a Ghost usage here.
You know what? I'm gonna pop off if we do see a Ghost usage. It's gonna be very exciting. All right, and then Subbaro is already coming up on the first boss, and the boss is this first boss takes 3 hits, unless you use the laser wisp, because the laser does double damage. Wisps doing extra damage is going to be a consistent theme throughout the boss fights, so that is definitely something important to keep in mind for all these strats.
Yeah, I love this boss is so funny to me because you kill him at like 5 or 6 seconds and you get a 23-second time. He spends 2/3 of the fight dying.
Yep, exactly. And thebluemania coming in on the boss as well, with you following closely behind. And in the meantime, Subbaro is already in Sweet Mountain Act 1. And what do we got here? Because the skips aren't going to stop, are they?
Yeah, Sweet Mountain, you thought Tropical Resort was crazy? I think Sweet Mountain has the highest concentration of crazy skips. So we got one coming up right here, and it's another 3D and 2D. And this is probably one of the lengthiest ones of the run. Probably my favorite skip in the game. See if Subbaro's going to nail it. I think that worked. Yeah, so now he's in 3D again, gets some super big jumps, gets to go around the walls to hit these springs in the side. And it's really nice. Actually, these springs line you up perfectly straight on, so Subbaro actually isn't touching the stick there to keep going straight with the path. Because if you try and maneuver yourself with the stick, it's actually really hard, because those paths are really thin. Luckily, the game does a good job of making our lives a little easier there.
Exactly. Now let's actually talk a little bit about some of the 3D mechanics in this game, because we've been seeing like some icons at the bottom of the screen, for instance, the one that's been persisting through most of that entire 3D and 2D, because we break out during a drift section. And there's multiple kinds of 3D. There's full 3D, there is drift 3D where you get access to the drift function, and then there is quick step 3D. And for the most part, full 3D is obviously going to be the most powerful, but yeah, those are the 3 that you're going to be seeing. And in the drift section, you usually cannot end up drifting. I should stop talking because there's another skip.
Yeah, here we go. Subbaro's coming up on a skip. This one not being a 3D and 2D, nice. You just use some speed from the rail to jump into a background layer of the 2D section, which saves about 12 seconds over playing the stage normally. Pretty nice time save.
Indeed. So it's surprising that that one works, considering that it's not actually 3D, it's just the way that the rail curves that just kind of allows you to have a small spot where you can jump into the background. thebluemania getting it as well, very nice. And you've been following closely behind as well, very
nice.
Good. Alright. Now, I'd be very surprised to see any of our runners go for the 3D and 2D in Sweet Mountain Act 3, which they're in right now, because that's honestly one of the highest risk, lowest rewards kind of skips. But who knows, maybe one of them surprises us. Subbaro instead is just using another wisp, the rocket wisp, which goes up, as rockets do. You're not going to be seeing a lot of it.
I think that is one of two uses what we have for rocket. I can only think of one other, and both of which you cancel the normal, like, normally when you end a rocket and you don't like hit your head against something, you have this like long free fall animation, and it looks kind of cool, and you can press B to go down faster, but it really does go down really slowly. So the only two times we use it are times where we can actually cancel that and just boost out of it.
And in the meantime, we're in Act 4 already, where we're going to be skipping yet again another 3D and 2D, which is surprising because it's a fully 2D stage, but it's multiple 2D layers, and you need to move between the two 2D layers, so which means you're at some point going to have to be in 3D. So we're just going to get up to where that 3D trigger is, grab another laser, angle ourselves upwards, and bam, just go straight to the goal ring. It was one of the oldest ones from Sonic Colors all the way back in the early Wii days, and it's so good.
Yeah, pretty much. There's only one skip that that is in the Wii version that we can't do because of the frame rate changes. The frame rate actually does affect the physics a lot more than you would think, but pretty much everything that used to work still does, plus some more stuff like this, where we make use of the tail saves to make the Bound 5 skip that Subbaro's doing right now a lot easier. It is possible in Wii, but people never did it in runs because of how hard it was, but having tail saves will make our setup a lot easier. I think Subbaro might use one here at the end too to make hitting the goal ring a little easier. Yeah, here we go. So that's an intentional death so that he spawns right up here, and he's just going to jump around this loop and go to the end.
Yeah, and something to keep in mind though with these tail saves is that they take a lot of like real time in terms of like being spawned back in, but during all of that time the in-game time is paused. The X-Shuttle mode actually has a very nice in-game timer, which we'll also be comparing a little bit in the end, because our runners do have some load time differences. But yeah, as a result, skips like that are very beneficial when it comes to in-game time rather than real time.
Right, yeah, that second tail save that Subbaro did there would lose quite a lot of RTA and is probably not worth, would honestly make the entire skip not worth going for because of how little time the skip saves. You'd probably be losing time at that point.
Now, Act 6 here, all our runners are basically just doing the same thing. We're using the Spike Wisp, which unlocks Sonic's Spin Dash ability to just kind of jump to the end. And after this, we have the boss, which once again is going to be a case of we're going to shorten how long it takes by using the Wisp. Normally there's 3 cycles of ship, then fight the boss, and thanks to the Drill Wisp, there's only going to be 2 cycles of that. And the Drill actually has a little bit of a difference in Ultimate as well, in the sense that it maneuvers quite a lot sharper. You can make some very sharp turns with it.
Yeah, it turns, the higher your frame rate is, the sharper it turns for whatever reason. So the console version that plays at 60 or the Switch version that plays at 30 can't turn nearly as fast as you see our runners turning here, because they're all playing on 144.
Yeah, the max frame rate of this game is 144 FPS, and there are a lot of things that are tied to FPS in this game, because it was originally made for the Wii to only be run at 30 FPS, so when it got, remastered and upskilled, a whole bunch of frame rate shenanigans came into place. One thing is also that the jump is actually higher the higher your frame rate is, which is one of plenty of reasons to run on 144 FPS.
Right. And Subbaro dumped his boost at the end of the boss, and unlike, the camera plays a lot of tricks on you and makes it seem like this part is faster, that Subbaro's doing right now is faster with boost, but it really isn't. And he wants to have the air dash here for when these chasers come in. You actually run so slowly in this part that it's actually faster to just spam air dashes. So you actually want to get rid of your boost for this part. And now we're coming up to another skip.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so this one, Subbaro's gonna, so he dodged the trigger for this auto run section, and he's gonna jump under the ship past the 2D section into the next 3D section. This looks good. Nice.
So, and if he had actually avoided the automated run trigger that is on the path he lands, then he would have been able to hit that trigger from behind, essentially. And if that happens, that is where the Subbaro speed happens, where you can get a lot of super speed. We'll see if any of our runners happen to get it, but it's very hard to miss a trigger intentionally on a path that hasn't spawned yet. But it's, as long as they're getting the skip, it is all good. Yep. And then in the meantime, it's a lot of automated running, so I think it's time to kick it over to Sky for a few donations.
All right, thank you, Sid. Appreciate that. So we have a $10 donation from Kirby Master, who says, I found my parents' wallet, Sid, and Kite donated $10 for this good cause. I hope you don't mind. Donation goes to Sid's choice. Tried to do my best kitty voice for Kirby. I had to message Kirby real quick, be like, who's Punchy? But apparently that's Sid's cat, so awesome. All right, have to have a bad pun in here, chat. $20 from Anonymous, who says, gotta say, this is shaping up to be an absolutely amazing Sonic block. And now a question. What is Sonic's favorite season? Spring. If you think you can do better, go ahead and send in your own puns with your donations. That's what it says, too.
Oh boy, it's actually encouraging more more puns. It's going to be one of those runs, isn't it?
I apologize for nothing. One more here. $20 from Drywall, who says, good luck to all the runners in the Sonic block. Especially hyped to see the egg shuttle race coming up. Just about ready to jump up high with joy. We'd love to see the Sonic speedrun community winning.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
and
you
you're watching the one and only use of the Cube Wisp in the run right now on news end. Hope you guys didn't want to see much more of that.
Yeah, the Cube Wisp is very underused, unfortunately. I love Cube, but you know,
we all love him.
Yeah, all he does is turn Cube rings into Cube blocks and vice versa. So that's not gonna come up too often. In the meantime, other wisps like Laser are like way more useful, because Laser just blasts you forward at a very high speed, and in 2D you can even like aim it up and down, or in this game 360 degrees, ups and down, whatever you want. Same with in 3D, but then it's like horizontally that you can aim it.
Right, yeah, we're actually going to see a skip later where we take, or multiple skips later, where we take advantage of the fact that they actually adjusted the laser to be able to aim 360 degrees. It was normally, I think, 45 in either direction from where you were facing before, so it, I guess people were annoyed with the fact that, like, a lot of times you would not be able to laser where you thought you could, and they just said, well, I guess we'll just let you laser wherever you want now. Go have at it.
Yeah, and a lot of the other wisps that we've seen thus far, like the special power-ups that you get, have been pretty self-explanatory. Drill drills through the ground, Rockets goes up, Spike. And that one is just basically a super spin dash while sticking to the walls and stuff like that, and the ceilings. And they're generally quite useful to pick up in this game. Even though Sonic has quite the moveset, like in this game he has his stomp, he has his double jump, he has his homing attack, and of course the air dash, or air boost if you have boost. It's all part of his trick, but thanks to the wisp there's just so much more versatility in terms of the movement right here. So in the meantime, we have made it over to Asteroid Coaster Act 4. Still in the same position, Subbaro in the lead with BlueMania following, and then Leo closely behind. And this one is where we would have been able to use Frenzy, but Frenzy is not actually that fast. We're not gonna use it in this run, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's such a cool wisp, but for some reason, like, there's just this, he slows down when he gets bigger and you eat more stuff, which, I don't know, I kind of it would be really cool if they did it the other way around. It also freezes for a long time every time he powers up, and it's just not very fast, unfortunately.
One wisp that we are going to see in this current stage, Act 5, and in Act 6 is the Hover Wisp, and that will allow them to just kind of hover slowly upwards, and it also unlocks Sonic's Light Dash ability, where he can dash along a trail of rings. Whenever he's dashing along a trail of rings, the meter for the wisp, for how long it lasts, doesn't deplete, so you can actually extend it by mashing the Light Dash button. Unfortunately, this effect is greatly diminished the higher your frame rate is, because it recovers faster.
Yeah, it is really weird that they decided to have that little effect on the light dash that stops your meter from going down slightly, even when your light dash whiffs. So, yeah, you'll see them mashing here. And you actually have to hold the A button while this happens, too, to be able to actually get the height out of the meter. So it's like kind of a weird grip you have to do. I think, Sid, do you bring your other hand over, right?
Oh, yeah, I do a wield.
Yeah, I do a weird overhand instead, but it's quite awkward.
Otherwise, I can't mash fast enough. But yeah, they have to also defeat some enemies at the end there in order to spawn the last Hover Wisp, and if they mash hard enough, they can just barely make it up all the way up to the top of this thing. And then throughout the next stage, they are going to be doing a similar thing, just kind of homing attacking to the top and using the Hover Wisp where needed for some extra height. So I think we have time for another few donations until we get to the boss fight.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much. $100 from Mini Kitty, who says, much love to all the runners and everyone in the Sonic community. Proud of all of you. We have $10 from Shovel Claws, who says, I love auraace. Shout out to Chocolate Milk. I feel like I'm missing some context there. I'll put a pin in that. Remember to ask Aura about that. I know there's some kind of lore there, and I love community lore. Community lore is great. $10 from Big Mikey, who says, so excited for some 3D Sonic today. Shoutouts to the entire Sonic speedrunning community. Some of the coolest people I've ever met. Good luck, gamers. All right, back to that chocolate milk thing now. I really want to know about this.
All right, so my stream tradition is whenever I get a PB that I'm really happy with on stream, I switch to an IRL phone stream where I make chocolate milk and drink it afterwards. So if you wanna see that, come on by, I guess. It's really funny.
All right, in the meantime, we've made it to the boss. This boss, once again, we're going to be using the wisps in order to do extra damage to the boss. In this case, it does a whopping 16 homing attacks worth of damage. However, that also means it sends it into a next phase usually. And after you damage it enough, you can't actually hit certain parts of the body anymore. So what our runners are going to be doing is they're going to be hitting the center first 10 times, which will make him drop the laser wisp. Then they're going to hit the center 9 times, and then for the 10th time, they will instead use the laser on it for those 16 hits of damage. From that point onwards, the center of the robot is too damaged to actually hit it, so they need to hit one of the engines. So he needs to actually go to one of the sides in order to be able to hit him there. Unfortunately, Mew getting some bad luck on that regard, and having to wait for the boss to go to the side to actually be able to hit the side, and they're once again going to do 9 normal homing attacks and another laser to finish it off. And that is the Starlight Carnival boss. So it's essentially just, can you count? Yes or no?
Yeah, it's actually one of the 2 sources of real RNG in this run. The second of which being the final boss, which we'll get to when we get there. But the game doesn't have very much of it. It's also the one tricky part is actually just finding the laser to be able to use on him, because it's actually really similarly colored to the boost whiffs that he also drops. And if you can't turn around in the auto run part, so if you miss the laser, you're going to be losing a lot of time. Luckily, nobody making that mistake, so it's all good.
And it's all good. Now here we have Planet Wisp Act 1, which is once again a home to a very high risk, low reward kind of skip. So all of our runners have chosen to play it safely for this race, which I very much respect. It is still pretty dang fast, just inbounds like this. And it seems that the thebluemania in the meantime has caught up and taken the lead.
Yeah, Ultimate tends to, with the faster physics from being on 144 FPS, I think the skip saves less time as well, so it's not even as worth going for than it was on Wii.
Exactly. The times you can get at 144 FPS are just straight up faster, because all of the physics being tied to the frame rate just makes everything just ever so slightly faster, all the animations and stuff. So really, the meta is just run on 144 FPS, which is why all of our runners are running on PC. Alright, what do we have in Planet Wisp 2 right here? Because this one is also quite tricky.
Yeah, wow, it looks like thebluemania got the whole thing. Subbaro got the clip, but didn't get the end. I guess I'll explain as New gets up to it. He's gonna try and clip through this wall by tricking the game into thinking he's on the lower path. And now he's gonna try and homing attack back through. Wow, he ended up back in the original part from where he clipped out. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, no, that's a new one for me too. It's a classic marathon moment right there.
Yeah, that homing attack that New failed to get back in bounds is surprisingly tight. It's only like a few frame window.
Yeah. And then after that, there's a nice spike jump in order to get to the end. But in the meantime, we have another trick coming up. This game does not stop. We have Planet Wisp Act 3, where we are going to be using the tail save in order to turn what is normally quick step 3D into full 3D, so that we can then also use another feature of the Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is the 360-degree laser to aim directly upwards and then boost to the goal ring. And yeah, that was very tight on Subbaro. So.
Yeah, Tails would have saved him there if he had died, but still looked really scary.
That was very scary.
Yeah, that's one of the new skips because you need, you obviously need the 3D laser, but also having Tails saved to cancel the auto run trigger for whatever reason is also really important for that.
Yeah. Fortunately, we are calming down a little bit after this. Let's see also if New gets the Planet Wisp 3 skip. This one's pretty baked into everybody's muscle memories. Found pretty early in the Sonic Colors Ultimate meta, and there was quite the IL war in order to get the record for that.
Yeah, because so much of it is in an auto run section. It's like really low variance stage.
Yeah. And then it's turned into this nice skip. You just do the skip fast, or you don't get record, essentially. Yeah, the 360 laser is also used in Planet Wisp Act 4 in order to just kind of, instead of having to ricochet off a wall, you just go directly upwards. But other than that, the stage is pretty normal in how you kind of get through it. Same with Act 5. Act 5, you just kind of play the 2D section fast.
Yeah, you just use the really... I feel like Sonic Colors has got to have the highest robot bounces in the series, where if you hold A when you jump into a robot, you just get so much height in this game.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
you basically just use that a few times to get a whole lot of height, where instead of having to platform with the springs or the blocks.
Mm-hmm. Now here in Planet Wisp Act 6, we do have a little bit of a skip that our runners do, which is where they jump off the rail early in order to then boost into the 2D section to skip as much of it as possible. And other than that, it really is a case of just grabbing the Spike Wisp and taking it to the end of the stage in order to skip the final 2D section, because it is a very slow climb that can just be skipped by using the Spike Wisp on the side of the wall to just go.
Yeah, that level can be really annoying if you don't have that.
For sure. And now Planet Wisp 6 boss, or Planet Wisp boss, same as the Tropical Resort boss, except we use Spike Wisp this time. And they actually use a little bit of setup in order to make sure that Spike is in front of him on the very first frame that he is damageable, because otherwise, after that, he goes into an attack where he's invulnerable very, very fast. Now, New is also coming up on the big jump in Act 6. So let's see how far he gets into there. And then in the meantime, the other two runners are going into Aquarium Park Act 1. What does this one have in store for us, Aura?
Yeah, this is my favorite skip in the game, and this one happens really fast, but basically you're gonna try and laser around a trigger and then run on the outside of the map here, where you can actually jump around the wall and around a trigger to end up in the next 2D section with 3D physics. And then you can blaze across the water with the extra speed and then jump around these walls to the lower part.
Yeah, it looks really cool when performed optimally, where you're just kind of zigzagging in and out of the 2D section, which is actually quite tricky. The 2D sections are more thin than you would expect. It's like, yes, there is a lot of, a lot of graphics, but not everything has collision.
Yeah, exactly, because you're not supposed to be out there. The game does not make as much stuff solid as you would think.
So now we have Aquarium Park Act 2 as well, which is where another new feature from Sonic Force Ultimate comes very nicely into play, which is the perfect homing attack, where if you time it properly, you get a little bit of boost. Now, in X Shuttle, a feature of it is that boost carries over between stages, which is not normally the case, so you would normally also be able to do this already in X Shuttle, where you could just kind of save some boost from the first stage and boost through that stage. But even other categories that don't have that feature, like any percent, can now do that thanks to the perfect homing attack. Just get some boost and boost through the 2D section in order to make it faster. And a lot scarier.
Subbaro got a pretty crazy save there. I don't know if you saw that. He had underwater physics for the entire end of AP1 there.
That is very scary because, yeah, Sonic will drown eventually.
Yeah, and you were also not supposed to ever be underwater in 3D, which we'll go over later, but you're not even supposed to do that in the run route there, but it's pretty scary when it happens, because, yeah, Sonic can still drown even though it doesn't look like he's underwater.
Yeah. And in the meantime, Bluemania already coming up to Aquarium Park Act 4, where the normal, very slow underwater movements that we have been trying to avoid as much as possible, but the previous stage didn't let us, is going to be replaced with a lot faster trivial movement underwater. Quite nicely. In the meantime, Subbaro is going through said underwater stage, having to actually deal with the underwater physics. And yeah, like auraace said, this is normally only ever supposed to be in 2D, so whenever we get the chance to get those underwater physics and go into 3D, we can usually skip a whole lot, because underwater you have access to an infinite jump. You can just jump up as much as you want.
So here's the second and final use of the Rocket Wisp, and we smack our head on the ceiling here to cancel the free fall again, so you can just go straight to the end from there.
And then the Bluemania has made it to the robot section, where you just kind of hope to get double boost capsules, which he did. Very nice to get like a little bit of extra boost so that he could just keep boosting in the end. And yeah, I'd say, well, the next stage, once again being a bouncy stage, I think this is a good moment to bring in a couple more donations.
All right, sounds great. We have $50 from The Sound Defense, who says, good luck to all the runners. I wish I could tell you who is in the lead and by how much, but I can say all the runners and commentators are killing it. Let's go, Sonic Block. I agree. Fantastic commentary and great running here. And of course, got to add a couple more puns in here. $10 from Patrick Star, not Krusty Krab, who says, when Sonic flips a coin, what side does he always pick? Tails.
Yep, he sure does.
Thank you. One more, $5 from Lux, who says, Sonic's favorite season is winter, actually. Why? Because it's always a little chilly. Dog. Back to you.
That was creative. I can't be mad about that. I can't be mad about that. I love it when people put some effort into their puns. You have time for a little bit more, Sky.
All right, sounds good. We have $50 from Inkjet Fire, who says, gotta bid fast to get donations in during the Sonic Block. Take my rings. This donation goes to unlocking the true Area 53 incentive in Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Advance 2. Sonic Advance 2. So again, $3,132 out of $5,000. We are very much getting there. By the way, how many Sonic games are there actually? I was just thinking about that, how I switched Advance to Adventure. I'm like, wait a second, there are so many Sonic games that I'm even unfamiliar with, so I was curious about that.
Every time I think I know them all, somebody comes with some obscure Sonic game from Game Gear or something, and it's like, yeah, this exists. It's quite the quite the large franchise. Also, while we were doing those donations, Bluemania unfortunately took a unfortunate death in the final section of Aquarium Park X5. So, unfortunately, he is still ahead by quite a nice margin. But yeah, we have made it to Aquarium Park X6 in the meantime. And Aura, what do we have waiting for us in X6?
Yeah, so now we're gonna finally get to the skip I was alluding to, where we're gonna use the underwater 3D physics underwater to our advantage. So I'll start explaining it before we get there. So when the water basically works that you can only enter or exit in the little 2D strip where where Sonic would normally be able to enter or exit if you were in the 2D part. So if you go around it, you can actually go up above the surface of the water, and the game can still considers you underwater. So when you do that, you can actually just go around and use your infinite jumps to go straight to the end. So now we'll actually see him do it. He's going to use hover to go above the trigger for this room up here and enter the next part in 3D. There you go. He's going to drop down into the water. Going to go around the sides, and now he's just in 3D and can just go straight to the goal ring with his infinite jumps. Very nice.
And one very small detail that actually speeds him up a little bit there is that he grabs those fishies, and those fishies allow Sonic to just kind of breathe underwater and just significantly improve his mobility underwater as well. So
yeah, I don't know why the fish speed you up underwater. It makes sense that they might take a hit of damage for you and that they might help you breathe, maybe, but I don't understand how. Like, I guess they reduce the drag by like slipstreaming with them. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
So the scary part is not actually the skip of Aquarium Park Act 6. It is actually the 2D section right before it, and Subbaro actually took it a little bit safe as a result, because it's very easy to die in it.
Yeah, and you need to make it through with the hover, because hover would make that section really easy, but you need to save the hover for the skip. Subbaro getting the fish too. Let's go.
All right, very nice. And what's going on with the boss fight in the meantime of Aquarium Park? Because it is quite the thing, and it actually behaves a little bit different on console than it does on PC. So, Aura, would you like to inform me as a console runner?
Yeah, so just like on Wii, you just want to make these missiles hit these bubbles, and if you can do that, if you get the second white one to do that, you get your drill. And then, I know this works a little differently on 144, but you want to like jump up and drill straight left right when you land in the underwater part over here, and that'll convince him. He actually has two different spawn locations. Dang, Subbaro missed it. You want him to spawn low there, and yeah, he got him to spawn high, and now you have to try and hit him when he's going 1,000,000 miles an hour. He's flying.
This is another problem of the increased frame rate of this version of Sonic Colors. The boss's movement is just so insanely fast, you cannot catch up with him. Even on 60 FPS, it can get really ridiculous. And on 144, if you don't catch him immediately, he's just gone.
Yeah, on console, you kind of can just like afford to wing it and just chase him down. But on 144, he goes so fast that we need our setup to just hit him immediately in the corner.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Subbaro missed. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but
yeah, the thebluemania also missed his initial drill in the first phase, but he did get it on the second one. And in the meantime, he is skipping the first part of Asteroid Coaster, because there is like an entire section there where you have to use Frenzy and go in 2D and go on another coaster. Don't want to do any of that. You could just jump over the invisible wall and go straight to the next section, which I'm sure that you and Subbaro will also be doing. Some other unfortunate thing that we unfortunately missed on Yu's end is that he did not get the Aquarium Park X6 skip, which will probably put him even further down.
Dang.
Which is a shame, because he was just starting to catch up again. We can still turn it around. There is still a lot of very crazy skips coming up in Asteroid Coaster. So anything can happen, honestly. One of those crazy skips is right here in Asteroid Coaster Act 2. Aura, what are we going to do?
Yeah, so this is going to be a kind of similar one to what we saw in Aquarium Park 1, where we're going to get out of bounds in one of the 3D walkway parts, so that you're technically standing on the ground, but you're on the other side of the wall, which allows you to jump around the outside of a trigger, and then we're going to land in a 2D section in 3D, and we can use that to skip to the end. I'll explain a little more when we actually get there, which will be in like 5 seconds. Alright, so he's going to take the spring here and go around the outside, and there we go, he's on the edge. Now he's going to jump out around the trigger, land in the 2D part, and then boost off the side. And then for whatever reason, the inverted gravity actually flips you up really high if you boost into it with a lot of speed from the 3D physics, and you can use that flip to get enough height to just hit the goal ring, and it's a super cool looking skip.
Is absolutely one of my favorites and absolutely one of the scariest. If you fail that at some point and have to sit through the entire thing to get to a kill plane, then that's it. You lose like over a minute until you actually reach the edge of the level, because there is no kill plane. You have to wait until you reach the edge of the level.
Yeah, so. They didn't really. The only way you're supposed to die in that part is those little push blocks push you out, which doesn't actually hit a kill plane. So yeah, they didn't have one there, and you have to fall for like, I think it's like 50 seconds or a minute until you die, and then you get sent back before the skip, and it's a headache. So hopefully we see Subbaro hit it.
I hope so, and it would actually be faster to just restart the stage at that point, but you cannot restart, because if you hit restart, you restart the entire X shuttle, and that is very painful as someone who has definitely done that before.
I think every single X shuttle runner has at one point made the mistake of thinking that you could just press the restart button to restart the current stage, but nope, it restarts the entire run.
Yep. Now the next 3 asteroid coaster stages that thebluemania has already been doing, and that Subbaro is going into right now, they're all pretty dang fast or unremarkable. In Act 3, you just kind of go directly to the end. In Act 4, you run the circles, and in Act 5, you just need to make sure that you get the laser in order to defeat all of the enemies real quick, and damage boost through some obstacles. The more interesting one, on the other hand, while we also see you now getting Asteroid Coaster 2 skip, very nice that all of our runners got it, that's a very important one. But the other important one is here in Asteroid Coaster X6. Right at the start, we have the supersonic speed, where thanks to the X Shuttle boost that carries over from the previous stage, you can actually jump into rings, which bluemania has already done. And the most infamous one is definitely coming up. What's going to be going on? Or this next one.
All right, so he's gonna try and clip out here in this underwater 2D part using the pogos. Let's see if he gets that. Oh, this is especially hard on 144 FPS. I'm not exactly sure why, but clipping out here is actually incredibly easy on 60 or 30, but on 144, it's really finicky. And there we go. So now he's underwater, but he's in 2D, so he's actually going to go back to the free fall part to hit a 3D trigger. And now he's underwater in 3D, which means he can basically just do whatever he wants, and whatever he wants is to go straight to the end. And there it is.
It is so good. It is so good. Now, Subbaro is meanwhile working on his supersonic skip. There you go, supersonic speed right into the rings. Very nice. And would you believe that we've actually already got another significant trick coming up in the Asteroid Coaster boss? This run doesn't stop, man. But yeah, with the Asteroid Coaster boss, we hit him 6 times in order to make him drop the rocket, and then hit him again in order to actually go into the 2D section of the boss. Then he's going to try and use the rocket on the boss in order to get it to essentially just get stuck in its hitbox and do a lot of damage with the stomp that he then does afterwards. The variant that bluemania just showed off only works on 144 FPS. There's not enough frames to do enough damage on the other frame rates in order to get that version of it, that quick of a kill. But there is other quick kill variants as well.
Yeah, one other reason why 144 is optimal, you get to save a free, well, not free, but you get to save 8 seconds on the Asteroid Coaster boss.
Exactly. Ooh, Subbaro and you are kind
both
of like
trying to get through the wall.
Both trying to get through the wall.
Yeah, this part of the skip is really annoying. So Subbaro's probably gonna have to go. I think Subbaro is definitely gonna have to go for the backup where he takes the checkpoint and dies. Looks like Mew's also gonna do it. Subbaro grabbed the checkpoint.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I did. Okay.
Okay, good.
So you can actually use the checkpoint to respawn, and the checkpoint saves the fact that you hit it in 3D. So you can actually just get a little boost from the perfect homing attacks, and then just go to the end still. not quite as fast, but it's a nice backup because otherwise they would have drowned because they didn't have enough time left to make it.
Yeah, the drowning meter you actually did not really have to worry about on the Wii version with the skip, and not, or when you're running on 60 FPS, because you just clip out so easily that you rarely have to worry about your breath. But the clip can take so long on 144 that it actually... They had to create a backup strat for it. I had not actually seen that backup strat before. That's a new one for me right here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
Me too.
We tested. I unfortunately, there's no way to make it faster because it is nice to go to the end without the underwater physics. Because the underwater physics are kind of slow.
Yep. Seems New and Subbaro both also got the 144 version of the Asteroid Coaster boss quick kill, which means we're in Terminal Velocity 1. The only important thing here is save enough boost at the end in order to make it. So we have time for like 1 or 2 quick nations.
All right, sounds awesome here. So we have another pun-tacular one here. $25 from Mock Rusto, who says, I'm excited the whole day for this extremely extraordinary race, and all 3 are doing excellent. Now I'm hungry for some chili dog. Wait, what? Oh, goodness. And again, I want to apologize to the commentators for that day.
It's no worry. I am in pain, but I enjoy the suffering. It's fine. I've been on a GDQ before.
$20 from Cube Monica, who says, actually, Sonic's favorite season is autumn because he never fears the fall.
Very nice. All right, we are actually at the final boss already, with you and Subbaro just kind of finishing up the last few sections of Terminal Velocity F1. The thebluemania has actually made it to the boss fight, and this one is just basically a bunch of luck which attacks you get. Getting a laser is good, getting a spike is good, but getting like combination attacks usually is not. Cube is also pretty decent, not the fastest animation, but at least it's not a combination attack, and that is basically it. Another thing that the thebluemania is doing is he's trying to get his homing attacks perfectly timed, because if you hit all of the perfect homing attacks like as soon as you can, then you actually get a very small window of opportunity where you can get a quick hit on Eggman, rather than sitting through the entire animation where Sonic gets flung into position for his homing attack. And definitely some very good quick kills right there. Then the last phase of the boss, no longer any luck based. It's always going to be spikes into a cube maze, into lasers. So after that, he just has to get the final quick hits, which he did for a very nice boss fight. Time is actually not after the final boss. There is another stage after the boss fight. So once they get to the end of that, that is when the time is going to be for our runners. I'll be sure to call it out. In the meantime, you getting a nice quick hit as well. And after all of our runners have finished, we also are going to compare the in-game time, because the real-time winner may not be the in-game time winner. We shall see. Alright, some very nice quick hits from our runners here so far. And now this final stage is actually about 28 seconds long, which means that we are coming up on time for the thebluemania as soon as the timer freezes, which is going to be right after the section where the camera inverts. He's going to put on his Sonic shades, very nice. And that is time for the thebluemania. Finishing first, very nice. Subbaro, unfortunately, getting one combination attack, but then a spike to decently fast. Yu is coming in on the final phase of the boss with Subbaro not too far behind. That is a 39 in-game time from the thebluemania. That is really good for a marathon.
Yeah, that is quite crazy.
I'm very curious what this is going to be in regards to the in-game time for Subbaro versus Yu. Real time, they are very close together right now, and I do think that Yu is going to take it. We are past the luck-based part of the fights that could have, changed their positions a bit. And on the last stage, really the only way you could throw this in regards to the real-time race is to actually die on Terminal Velocity Act 2. Nobody does that. Definitely not me. I've never done that.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody throw a run to Terminal Velocity 2. Certainly none of the runners in this race would ever do that, something of that magnitude, right?
No one would die on the auto-scroller stage. Absolutely not. Never. Alrighty. So, New is just kind of making his way through the auto-scroller stage. Time is coming up very shortly for him as well. Again, there's nothing you can really do to speed up this stage. And that's time for New. Very nice. That is a 41:04 in-game time. Not too shabby at all. And then it's almost time for Subbaro as well. And that's time. That is all our 3 racers done. With actually Subbaro coming in with a
almost
40:01
as well.
So here you can see what load time differences can do. For the real time, we have coming in first place thebluemania, second place New, and third place Subbaro. But in-game time, those last 2 are actually swapped, with Subbaro taking the second place. That was a very nice race. Definitely some nice changes in the leads throughout it, and quite a few quite tight at certain paces, where definitely throughout the first couple of worlds they were a lot closer than I expected it to be. Because there were definitely a lot of times for a lot of upsets in the earlier skips. But very nice. That was very cool. Thank you to the racers for a wonderful race. And if y'all have anything to say, any shout-outs you want to make, I would say, go ahead.
Yeah, I would actually like to shout out Avikailov. He's one of our older runners, I would say. He's both ran colors, Wii and Ultimate, and he's a special kind of runner because he uses keyboard for this game, and that's super hard to do. And I want to give him a quick shout out because he's an awesome teacher for this game. He taught me a lot of stuff, even though I'm playing the game longer than him, probably. He's an incredible tasser as well, so he knows the ins and outs of the game, and he truly deserves it.
I guess, I can shout out just everyone that sort of welcomed me into the community when I first started, because this was basically my first speed game, and I could be happier about my performance today, but honestly, it's just nice that I was even here to be able to show it off. So I thank everyone that, welcomed me in, everyone sort of helped me along here, and I'm glad I was able to be here. Thank you all.
And we're very happy to have you. It's been an absolute pleasure. And in terms of other shout-outs, there are 2 particularly prominent members of the community that I think do deserve a shout-out. One is the Cryptic Jackknife, one of the oldest runners of this game. Very dedicated, very good glitch hunter as well. You may have seen him up in a bunch of other games where he glitch hunts, and honestly, he has done so much for this game and is wonderful. And the other person is Deku, who is a really good runner and currently one of the moderators for this game as well, who's been putting in a lot of work. Very thankful for Deku to have him around. He's been absolutely great. But the community in general has been very wonderful. It's grown a lot thanks to Sonic Colors Ultimate, so we're very thankful for this release, just because it brought so many new runners like New into the community. So if you want to do that as well, on speedrun.com there is a link to the Discord. There's also guides in the Discord and on the guide section of speedrun.com, so you can grab it from wherever you want if you want to get into this game. And that's it for me. Thank you all very much. Aura, any last words?
No, I would just say, yeah, I think this game is pretty mechanically simple compared to other Sonic games. There aren't quite as many, like, it might look really, really hard when you watch the run, but like a lot of the basics are really easy to understand. So I really urge you, if you think that this run was cool, that you give it a shot and come hang out with us.
It's definitely one of the easier 3D Sonic games to get into, for sure. and we're always happy to help. So I think that's it. Thank you all very much for having our wonderful community here.
All right, thank you so much again to the Bluemania, Subbaro, and New. Thank you so much for that run. Absolutely fantastic showcase and intense race of Sonic Colors Ultimate. Coming up next, we'll have Sonic Advance 2 with Kirby Master. But real quick, let's talk about the reason why we are all here. The Prevent Cancer Foundation. The Prevent Cancer Foundation, founded in 1985, is a U.S.-based nonprofit organization. Their mission is to save lives across all populations through cancer prevention and early detection by focusing their work through research, education, outreach, and advocacy. Their vision is to stop cancer before it starts. You can find out more information about PCF at preventcancer.org. All right, we have some more donations here. Plato donates $200 saying, gotta go fast, loving the Sonic runs and looking forward to more. As someone who just adopted 4 cats, though, gotta donate to get that stray run on the schedule and have even more cat. All right, folks, now a word from the Yeti. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online, powered by Twitch. So we do have some incentives coming up. Sonic Advance 2 True Area 53, currently 3,704 out of 5,000. So again, if you would like to see Kirby Master play the True Area 53, please get those donations in. And a little bit of an update on bonus game 4, Stray. We're currently $42,717 out of $99,999.99. So again, if you want to see Stray, and if you want to see the Sonic Advance 2 True Area 53, please get those donations in. And what are talking about incentives without talking about prizes? Sent Frozen Flygon. Take it away, friends.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023. My name is Frozen Flygon, and I am joined here by Scent. And this has been such a fun Sonic block so far. We have one more game coming up, Sonic Advance 2. And then after that, we have a bid war between Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Red. So make sure you get your donations in for the version you want to... Hi, Whooper. What are you thinking? Which one are you leaning towards?
I think Whooper's just excited for that Pokemon Run Court, and so am I. Hello, everyone. We have so many prizes to tell you all about. The table in front of us is full of prizes. The couch is full of prizes. We've got prizes all around us, and you know what? This isn't even all of the prizes for this block. The prizes we're about to talk about all in at Pokemon Red or Yellow. So make sure to get your donations in before then. I'm going to tell you right now, as always, $25 minimum donation is going to get you entered into everything specific to this block. $50 minimum donation is going to get you entered into all of our day prizes. We have some absolutely incredible ones today, like this Whooper.
Yes.
I can't put it down. We put bows on it. We've been having so much fun in the studio playing around with it. It is absolutely fantastic. And it's very solid, right? You know, when you see a plushie this time, do you think like, oh, it's going to be really squishy, like it's not going to hold its shape? No, this thing is absolutely a unit. So thank you so much to our friends over at Pincushion Cat Plushies for sending this out to us. It is a $50 minimum donation anytime today, but get those donations in sooner rather than later. And while you're getting those donations in, remember, you don't have to put them in for anything specific to be eligible for the prizes. So get them in for some of our incentives. We've got some cool stuff coming up later tonight, like the neon white rainbow rush, which is basically there's a bunch of bonus stages in neon white that you can play over the course of the campaign as you unlock these character-specific items to unlock more of the story that White has with each of these other characters. The Rainbow Bushes playing all of their stages back to back to back. They all require very different styles of gameplay and execution and movement. You don't want to miss it. Let's make that happen. And let's talk about some of the other amazing prizes that you can get entered to by donating.
Yeah, absolutely. We had such a fantastic Stardew Valley run earlier. There was so much community love, and we have so many amazing Stardew Valley prizes here that I know all of you are going to love. You want to talk about the guidebook that we have here? Oh,
I gotta talk about the guidebook from our good friends Carrie Fry and Ryan Novak, longtime GDQ supporters, longtime friends of the stream. Their work is always just absolutely fantastic. The art book is incredible. You crack it open. It's got all the information you need on Stardew Valley, combined with some lovely hand-drawn art of the items in the game, of the characters in the game, of the locations in the game, of everything you need to need. And one of my favorite parts about Carrie's work is that the dust jackets on the books always double as something else. So in this case, we have a lovely little chart here of the different ingredients in Stardew Valley for cooking and how all the different characters react to them, you know, what ones they like, what ones they dislike. It's just a super cool little bonus feature because you know what? I tend to take the dust covers off my books because I really do like, you know, just the classical book cover on my shelf, but it's really nice that they serve an additional purpose. That's super cool. Thank you so much for sending it out to us. And it's only a $5 minimum donation, but I'm telling you, at least $25, going to get into everything we're about to talk about and more.
Yeah, absolutely. And continuing with our Stardew Valley theme, we've been seeing some of these awesome candles from Retro Flame. And of course, we have two here that are coming up. We have the Green Hills, which is relevant to our Sonic block that's happening right now, and the Valley candle from Stardew Valley. And the Stardew Valley one is Oak Citrus Amber, which sounds absolutely lovely.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'm gonna follow my nose. I'm gonna say the Green Hill one is mint. The Green Hill one is actually sweetgrass and wildflowers. My palate is non-existent. Don't trust my palate. Trust the label. That's going to tell you what you need to know. Both of them $5 minimum donation from our friends over at Retro Flame. Thank you so much for sending those out to us. From our friend Pearl Pop, we have a lovely set of Stardew Valley Junimo Sprite Perlers. You get all 4 of them as a set together for a $10 minimum donation. Again, absolutely fantastic work from Pearl Pop. The melt on these is so smooth. They look almost like they're acrylic pieces. I promise you, these are fused beads. Wonderful job. Thank you so much for sending them out.
I love the white outline on these too. It makes them really striking with the pixel art of the Stardew Valley style.
Oh yeah,
really,
for
really
sure. It really stands out as like, this is intended. Oh, yeah, you want to keep going with that because
they just fit so well together.
They do.
Absolutely, you know, I love that it's a cutout of, I think, paper, I believe, right?
Yep.
And so it has the Junimo that we were talking about for Stardew Valley, and I believe a Studio Ghibli reference on the other side.
Yeah. This comes to us from Kale Clara. So this is the little coal spirit from Howl's Moving Castle, as well as the Junimo from Stardew Valley, kind of trading what each of them are carrying. It's absolutely adorable. It's a super cool mashup. Thank you so much for sending it out. I believe it is a $20 minimum donation until the end of Pokemon Red or Yellow, so make sure to get those donations in. From our friend Forest Hearth, we have another really cool Stardew Valley prize. We have an ornament set featuring all of the different mushrooms that you can actually find in Stardew Valley.
I can't hold them all.
Here,
but,
let me give you a hand, Court.
Awesome. So yeah, we have all the different kinds from Stardew Valley, and they're ornaments, so you can attach them, put them on, you know, wherever you want to hang them up and display them. And I think these are such a unique set. And it shows it's for anyone who just really loves this game.
Yeah, winter holidays, spring festival, whatever you could use for mushroom ornaments, you can use for mushroom ornaments if you win these $15 minimum donation. Thank you so much to Forest Hearth for sending those out to us. We have so many cool prizes. Right?
Every time we bring them all over here, it's like, wow, I'm blown away by just the generosity of this community. And it's just, every time I look at them, I'm like, wait, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love all of these.
It's so hard to pick a favorite. They're all so good. From our friend Cute Monster Props and Storyteller Cosplay, we have this absolutely adorable 3D modeled Chow statue here, trying to keep it secure while also rotate it for the camera and all of you at home. It looks so good. It's so smooth. It's so shiny. It is very reminiscent of a Chow you might find sitting in your own Chow garden at home, and it could be sitting in your home for a $20 minimum donation. Super cool prize. Super well made. Thank you so much for sending it out to us.
Absolutely. We can keep rolling with these Sonic prizes. We've got a Sonic hat. You know, I came in here with my Pikachu hat, and then I saw this one and I was like, wait, this is amazing. And you know, the crocheting on this is fantastic. We've got the ears. We've got all of Sonic's hair back here. I absolutely love this. It's so adorable.
Oh, that is an absolutely incredible hat. Thank you so much to our friend Iggy Zig for sourcing that for us. It is a super lovely hat. Now, moving on real quick, we have some more prizes. I know you mentioned that you were dressed up as Pikachu, Court. Well, what about Pikachu dressed up as someone else? We have this absolutely adorable piece of Pikachu cosplay cross-stitch here. It is super cool.
I mean, the Pikachu could be cosplaying as me. You got a bow on.
Yeah, there we go. We've got a bow. This could be a Pikachu cosplay as Court. I believe it's a $20 minimum donation. I am so sorry. The name of the there we go. Geeky Creations Crochet. I was just about to say it's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it, but the website will always remember it. Production is on it. Thank you so much, friends. $15 minimum donation, and thank you for sending it out. It is fantastic. Oh, we gotta still at least talk about this Pikachu before we go.
We got more Pikachu. You know, we got the red versus yellow coming up, and yellow is in the lead. So let's show off some Pikachu love here. I absolutely love this wall hang. Pikachu looks so happy, and you got the hearts there, the pose, the smile. I absolutely love this.
Yeah, again, hand-knitted, sent to us by Serenity Black. It is absolutely incredible. Comes with a hand-knitted hanging rope as well here, so you can hang it up on whatever wall fixture you would like. Absolutely fantastic. Hundreds of stitches or crochets. I'm not actually sure what an individual crochet motion is even called, but what I do know is that this is adorable. Your Pikachu loves you in Pokemon Yellow. It could love you in real life if you get in a $25 donation, at least $20 donation at least, and win this lovely Pikachu wall hanging. We have so many more prizes. We don't have time to talk about all of them, so let's talk about some of the amazing day prizes that we have right now. They are a $50 donation at any point today until the end of Kirby later tonight, so make sure to get your donations in. First off, we have this absolutely fantastic diamond painting of Cloud from Lady Wiza. Again, this is like 50,000 individual shimmering beads that you can see here reflected in our studio lights. It is an incredible piece. I love the composition. Like, I mean, come on.
The striking art, you know, with his model from the remake, and just the scenery in this is absolutely fantastic. The shimmer on the Buster Sword, just every time I look at it, I'm just mesmerized with the amount of talent and beauty that comes with this painting. It's fantastic.
It's so incredible. But that's not all, because that $50 donation is also going to get you entered into a one-of-a-kind acrylic on canvas painting from our good friend Caroline Design. You can see it right here in between the two of us. It is a fantastic painting of the cat from Stray in the universe, but here's my favorite part about it. It glows in the dark. It reacts to UV light, and if we move our lights off of us real quick here in the studio, I can just show you all that it really looks fantastic. My favorite part about it, though, for sure, is definitely the cat there. The eyes glow so realistic. Like, this is what happens when you see a cat in the dark. You just see the glowing eyes.
All the cat owners in the room are just like, oh, that's it. Yep, I've seen that before. I've got staring right into your soul asking for food.
Indeed. It is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much to our friend Caroline Design for sending it out to us. Again, $50 minimum donation any point today until the end of Kirby Star Allies. And keep in mind that $50 donation is also going to get you entered into a quarter of a way towards all of our grand prizes, which are $200 cumulative donations throughout the event. So $50 a day get you into everything we just talked about, and all of our amazing day prizes. $50 3 other times throughout the marathon. That's going to get you entered into all 3 of our grand prizes from our friends over at Heroic Replica. You get a lovely Hylian shield plus your choice of one of 15 other replicas. The power is yours. Actually, that's Captain Planet. That's not one of the choices, but you can have the power because He-Man's Sword of Power is one of the options, and it looks fantastic. You can get yourself a lovely Skytech Gaming Azure Gaming PC. You can check out the specs over at gamesdonequick.com, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's got a 3060 Ti. It's got a great CPU in it. It is going to be pretty much future-proof for your PC needs. And we have an incredible Fallout AER9 laser rifle from our friends at Cute Monster and Vulpin Props. Looks absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much to all 3 of you for sending in those incredible grand prizes for us. Thank you all so much for donating. We are so close to $700,000 already.
The number just keeps climbing, you know, like from this morning to now, it's been a fantastic day. Everyone is so generous and, you know, making the world a better place through gaming and speedrunning, which is so cool.
Indeed. It's always a pleasure to see. Let's keep that number going up, and let's keep this marathon moving along as we send it over to one of the most storied runners in GDQ history and a good friend of mine, Kirby Master, as we get ready for Sonic Advance 2.
All right, thank you so much to Scent and Frozen Plagon for that lovely prize segment. My goodness, the art there is so awesome. Be sure to donate to get those donations in to get some prizes. And without further ado, we are continuing to speed through our Sonic block here. We currently have Sonic Advance 2, Kirby Master, and there is a character bid war that I'm told about. Good luck and have fun, Kirby.